There's a kind of tired that sleep can't fix. Not laziness, not giving up. It's the exhaustion that comes from trying so hard, for so long, while nothing seems to move. You keep showing up. You do everything right. You do more, think more, fix more, but it all feels stuck. And somewhere deep down, a quiet voice whispers, maybe I'm not supposed to try this hard. That's where trust begins. The world teaches us that effort is everything, that if something isn't working, the answer is to push harder, hustle more, wake up earlier, fix yourself. But no one teaches you the other half of the truth. Sometimes it has nothing to do with doing more. It has everything to do with trusting more. And when you finally learn to trust yourself, trust life, trust the timing, trust even the silence, something strange happens. Things start to move. The people you used to chase start reaching out. The answers you were trying to force just land in your lap. You feel lighter, like you're no longer dragging your entire life behind you, because you don't always get what you force. You get what you're aligned with. And trust is what puts you in alignment. Trust isn't hoping things work out. It's knowing you don't need to control every little detail to feel safe. Breathing deeper, loosening your grip, remembering that you're not here to carry the weight of the whole universe. You're just here to live. And living flows better when you stop trying so hard to make it perfect. I know it's hard. Trust feels like a risk when all you've ever known is pressure. Letting go feels like weakness when you've built your whole identity around effort. But here's the truth that no one tells you. Trust doesn't make you passive. It makes you powerful. Because when you stop wasting energy on what you can't control, you finally have energy for what you can. Here's the part most people never realize. Trying too hard is often a sign you don't trust yourself. You don't trust your intuition. You don't trust your timing. You don't trust that what's meant for you will recognize you without you having to prove yourself constantly. So you overdo. You overthink. You explain yourself when no one's asking. You show up even when you're completely exhausted. You keep trying because the fear in your chest whispers, if I stop, everything will fall apart. But it won't. Sometimes when you finally stop trying, that's exactly when things start clicking. Because you're no longer coming from fear, from desperation, from trying to convince life to give you what you want. You're coming from calm, from presence, from alignment. And alignment doesn't beg, it attracts. If you've ever felt that exhaustion of forcing things that just won't move, drop a comment below. You're not alone in this. And I think you already know that. Trust means letting things breathe, allowing the silence without needing to fill it, not panicking when there's a pause in your progress. Because the most important things in life, real love, deep peace, genuine growth, they don't show up through pressure. They grow in stillness. They arrive when you stop chasing and start listening. And here's something else most people miss. The more you try to control, the more you confirm that you're not in control. That's why it always feels heavy. That's why it never lasts. Because the energy behind it is fear. And fear will always have you gripping things that aren't even meant for you. But trust allows. It doesn't rush. It doesn't panic. It listens. It lets go of the tight grip, the timelines, the constant mental spinning. And it says, if it's meant for me, it's already on its way. That's not blind hope. That's wisdom. Because when you've lived enough life, when you've forced enough doors that led nowhere, when you've chased enough people who didn't value you, you learn something. Trust isn't weakness. It's a choice. A strong, quiet choice to stop leaking your energy into fear and to start investing it into peace. And that peace doesn't just feel good, it opens doors you didn't even know existed. Because now, instead of trying to control life, you become the kind of person life wants to meet halfway. Let's be honest. Trust feels unnatural when all you've ever known is survival. If you grew up feeling like love had to be earned, if you learned early that success only came through pressure and burnout, if you've always believed that life rewards the ones who suffer the most, then trust is going to feel unfamiliar, and letting go is going to feel dangerous. But here's what no one tells you. You weren't born to suffer your way into alignment. You weren't meant to live with your jaw clenched and your chest tight, calling it discipline. There's a way to move forward without self-abandonment. There's a way to build and grow and heal without losing yourself in the process. And that's what trust gives you. It gives you yourself back, your energy back, your breath back. Because instead of trying to be 10 steps ahead of everything and everyone, you finally land here, in the moment, in your body, in your peace. You're not calculating outcomes or running mental simulations or begging the universe for reassurance anymore. You're grounded, rooted, open, and from that place, you make better decisions. You attract the right people, not because you chase them, but because they feel your stability. You stop rushing, not because you've given up, but because you finally understand the difference between force and flow. Trust doesn't mean you sit around waiting for life to happen to you. It means you stop sabotaging yourself when nothing's happening yet. It means you stop jumping in and trying to fix things just because you're uncomfortable. Because now you understand something. Uncomfortable doesn't mean unsafe. Silent doesn't mean stagnant. Slow doesn't mean wrong. The more you trust, the more you see that life has its own rhythm. It's not punishing you, it's preparing you. And sometimes the only reason you're not moving forward is because you're still holding on to a version of life you were never meant to carry. Once you let that go, once you stop forcing yourself to be somewhere you're not ready for, the path opens. Not because you pushed your way through, but because you finally stopped blocking it. That's the shift. From control to trust. From burnout to balance. From proving your worth to remembering it. Something powerful happens when you stop needing everything to happen right now. When you no longer rush healing, or love, or your purpose, you become still enough to notice what's already working. You become aware of how much energy you've been wasting by checking for progress every 5 minutes, constantly measuring, constantly comparing, constantly wondering if you're falling behind. But falling behind according to what, exactly? Some timeline that was never yours to begin with? Some invisible clock that keeps you up at night but doesn't actually serve your peace? When you trust, really trust, you stop reacting to every delay like it's a sign of failure. You start seeing delays as direction. You start seeing endings as redirections. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this making space for? That's the mindset shift. That's where the trying stops and the becoming begins. Because here's something most people never understand until it's too late. You can get the thing and still lose yourself in the process. You can force the relationship. You can force the career. You can force the success. But if you're disconnected, anxious, burnt out, and spiritually numb when you arrive, what was the point? That's why trust matters. Not just for getting the outcome, for keeping your wholeness along the way. Trust builds a life that's sustainable. Force builds a life that eventually breaks down. When you move from trust, you stop compromising your values just to get ahead. You stop silencing your intuition just to fit in. You stop chasing people just because you're afraid of being alone. You start honoring your inner pace. You start listening when your body says rest. You start walking away from what no longer feels alive, and you begin to attract a completely different reality. One built on truth, not pressure. On soul, not performance. On peace, not urgency. And when that shift happens, people around you notice. Not because you told them you were healing. Not because you're trying to be seen, but because you've stopped fighting life. And now life is flowing through you, not around you. One of the most misunderstood things about trust is that people think it means doing nothing, sitting around hoping life changes. But that's not trust, that's waiting, that's passivity. Real trust is active, a quiet confidence, not a lazy hope. Waking up every day and showing up, not because you're afraid, but because you know something is aligning even if you can't see it yet. When you trust, your actions come from peace, not panic. You're no longer forcing things into place just so you can stop feeling uncomfortable. You let the discomfort exist without rushing to escape it. And that's powerful because discomfort is where the truth rises. Think about it. How many bad decisions came from the fear of waiting too long? How many wrong relationships did you stay in because you didn't trust something better would show up? How many times did you say yes when everything in your body screamed no, simply because you didn't trust that your no would be respected? Trust changes that. It rewires your behavior. It teaches you how to pause before you react. It helps you step back when you're tempted to prove yourself. And it reminds you that your value isn't in how fast you move, but in how fully you align. You stop rushing into conversations just to fix your image. You stop jumping into commitments just to feel less alone. You stop trying to earn things that are meant to be freely given. And instead, you begin to wait for the right things. Not the fast things, not the convenient things. The real, soul-filling, peace-anchoring things that don't require you to shrink or force or perform. That's the kind of life trust builds. One where every no becomes protection, every delay becomes preparation, and every silence becomes sacred space for something real to grow. You stop measuring your progress in numbers or timelines or social validation, and you start measuring it in peace, in how little you chase, in how deeply you breathe, in how soft you've become without losing your strength. Trust doesn't make your life easier, it makes it clearer, and clarity will always take you further than control ever could. So if you're still carrying the belief that trying harder will finally bring you peace, let it go. Trying has its place. But trust is what carries you when effort alone starts to wear you down. It steadies you when nothing makes sense. It reminds you that what's truly meant for you will never need to be forced into your life. Because no matter how much the world celebrates hustle and speed and urgency, the most meaningful things tend to arrive quietly. They don't need you to chase them. They need you to make space for them. And that space is created by trust. Start trusting your timing. Start trusting the silence. Start trusting the process, even when it's uncomfortable, especially then. Because the moment you stop pushing for it all to happen now is often the same moment everything starts aligning faster than you ever expected. Not because you tried harder, because you finally stopped getting in the way. If this message spoke to something inside you, if you felt something soften while you were listening, take a second to like this video and subscribe if you want more of these calm reminders that you're not behind and you've got nothing to prove. And if you made it all the way to the end, let me know by dropping the word trust in the comments. That one word tells me you're no longer forcing, you're finally allowing, and that changes everything.